Making the headlines tonight. Prime Minister Hun Sen has encouraged the Pakistani ambassador to Cambodia to further explore the potential between the two countries on the occasion of the 70th anniversary of bilateral relations. He urged the Pakistans to increase economic and trade cooperation. Deputy Prime Minister Prak Sokhonn departs for his first mission to Myanmar to discuss the views on the implementation and the process of the ASEAN 5-point consensus. A China Eastern passenger jet carrying 132 passengers crashed in southern China on Monday. The crash has led to a fire on a mountain and there are no signs of survivors. German tennis great Boris Becker fails to hand over his assets and his Wimbledon trophies after declaring bankruptcy at a London court heard. And over the weekend, Institut de France de Cambodia turned 30. The EAC team attended the celebrations to commemorate their milestone. This is the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I'm Anthony Ellis. Prime Minister Hun Sen has encouraged the Pakistani ambassador to Cambodia to further explore the potential between Cambodia and Pakistan on the occasion of the 7th anniversary of the two countries' bilateral relations. He urged Pakistan ambassador to increase the economic and trade cooperation, which are important sectors from both countries, to complement one another. EAC News reporter Deccan Nin has more details.
While meeting with Pakistani Ambassador Zahiruddin Babatahim at the Peace Palace on Tuesday morning, Prime Minister Hun Sen reflected on the relationship between Cambodia and Pakistan and the past 70 years of bilateral relations. He urged for the two countries to increase cooperation, especially to complement one another in the existing sectors of economy and trade. The Prime Minister's assistant Ieng Sopolite told reporters after the meeting. During this occasion, Prime Minister Hun Sen also thanked the government of Pakistan for providing scholarships to Cambodian students and asked the government of Pakistan to continue supporting Cambodia. The Pakistani ambassador also confirmed to Prime Minister Hun Sen that Pakistan considers Cambodia one of its important partners. He stated that he will continue the existing activities with Cambodia and do everything he can to promote relations in all fields in order to expand this long-term relationship. According to the OEC World, the trade volume between Cambodia and Pakistan in 2019 was more than $48 million, of which Cambodia exported only about $1.2 million to Pakistan. Diplomatic relations between Cambodia and Pakistan began on the 28th of May 1952 and have lasted for 70 years. Pakistan has its embassy in Phnom Penh, while Cambodia has an honorary consulate in Lahore, Pakistan. Deccan Nin, EAC News.
The Asian Special Envoy of Myanmar, the Cambodian Foreign Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Prak Sokhonn departed on his first mission to Myanmar on Monday and met with the Myanmar military leader Min Aung Hlaing on the same day to discuss and exchange views on the implementation and process of the ASEAN 5-point consensus since the priority visit from Prime Minister Hun Sen in January 22. EAC News reporter Darshana Guchan has more.
Deputy Prime Minister Prak Sokhonn traveled to Myanmar for the first time as the ASEAN Special Envoy on Monday, 21st March, for a 3-day official visit. The ASEAN Special Envoy's accompanying delegation includes the Minister of Industry, Senior Minister Cham Prasut, the ASEAN Secretary-General Dato Lim Jak Hoi, the Executive Director of the AHA Center, Lee Yam Ming, and other Cambodian ASEAN officials. According to a statement issued on 18th March 2022 by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, this is the first visit of the ASEAN Special Envoy to Myanmar, and the main aim of the visit is to create favorable conditions to end the ongoing conflict and to instill a greater sense of inclusion and tolerance, and encouraging political consultations and dialogue among all stakeholders involved. Another aim of the visit is to distribute humanitarian assistance with the support and coordination of the ASEAN Secretariat and the ASEAN Coordinating Center for Humanitarian Aid and Disaster Management. Darshana Guchan, EAC News.
The President of the Trial Chamber of the National Election Committee, Prak Chan, has announced the removal of the Candlelight Party candidates registered to run for the upcoming 5th-term Commune District elections at Tuol Svai Prey Moi District. This removal comes after a complaint was received about the running of the Candlelight Party candidates in this district by a citizen named Mao Moni. EAC News reporter Slay Paul Kong has further details.
In the public hearing on complaint case number 051 dated 19 March 2022 at the NEC office on Tuesday morning, 4 decisions were announced, including the decision to reject and delete the list of Candlelight Party candidates registered to run in the Tuol Swai Prey Muay district election. This also entailed officially withdrawing and rejecting the registration application form 100H of this candidate from the Commune District Election Commission in Tuol Swai Prey Muay district. The president of the Trial Chamber of the National Election Committee, Prachan, announced that this decision would be made public on Tuesday, 22nd March, in front of the party and their lawyer to permanently stop any protests. According to the hearing, the decision to remove the list of candidates from the Candlelight Party from the Tuol Swai Prey Muay district election was based on the ground that the Candlelight Party did not properly follow the law on the Commune District Council elections. The court deemed that 4 candidates from the Candlelight Party violated the law by not complaining and signing resume and declaration of approval to run for the Candlelight Party when that is required by the law for all candidates. The 4 candidates themselves also answered similarly to this verdict, saying that they had handed over their photo and ID card to the Candlelight Party working group, but did not originally intend to run for the party. They also did not write or stamp any official documentation, and it was representative of Candlelight Party who had just given them oral right. Pursuant to Article 39 of the Law on Commune District Council Election and Article 6.5 of the Regulation of the Commune District Council Election Procedure for the 5th Mandate 2022, it is stipulated that all persons wishing to stand as candidate for the election of Commune District Councillor must add their name to the list of political parties. Article 42 of the same law also states that a resume and officially declaration must be filled out by each candidate. In addition, based on Article 62 of the Law on Commune District Council Election, in the case that the NEC approve an objection made to the candidacy of a certain individual or individual under a political party, the NEC shall officially reject the candidacy or the list of the candidate of a political party from partaking in the election, revoking and denying their candidate registrations. Sri Pokong, EAC News.
The Secretary of State for the Ministry of Social Affairs, Veterans and Youth Rehabilitation and Secretary-General of General Secretary of Disability Action Council, M. Chan Makra, has said that Cambodia is committed to apprehend to the principles of respect for basic human rights, especially for the rights of the persons with disabilities, to build the necessary foundation needed for the successful implementation of the Convention of the Rights of the Persons with Disabilities in the country. EAC News reporter Deccan Nin has the story.
Speaking at the basic training on psychological counseling and the minimum standards for basic counseling for women and girl victims of gender-based violence, organized by TPO Cambodia on Tuesday morning, Secretary of State M. Chan Makra said that with only 9 years left until the deadline for the Sustainable Development Goals, Cambodia must work hard towards achieving these goals as planned. He added that only by mobilizing and optimizing the use of resources in cooperation with all stakeholders can Cambodia achieve the prevention of gender-based violence, especially violence against women and girls with disabilities. He said, "Violence against women and girls with disabilities is a global concern. The problem is complex and widespread and has negative economic, social, and health consequences for women and their families. Families and communities affected by violence are losing out on many benefits, especially those related to family relationships. Increasing self-confidence for women and girls with disabilities affected by violence, family unity, and trust is an opportunity for the improvement of community engagement, progress, and development." The Secretary of State called for making joint efforts to end gender-based violence and domestic violence, especially to prevent physical, sexual, economic, or emotional harm to women or girls with disabilities. He also said that he considers the training organized by TPO this morning to be very important for the leaders and officials of the General Secretariat of Disability Action Council in order to learn the best methods to provide psychological counseling for women and children affected by gender-based violence, as well as to receive recommendations on the best practices for prevention and reduction of violence against women and girls with disabilities. According to Secretary of State M. Chan Makra, even during the heightened risk of COVID-19, working with the community to prevent gender-based violence is absolutely necessary. He added that the prevention of violence against women and girls with disabilities is a complex and difficult issue to address because of the confluence of poverty, gender, violence, disability, and deep cultural and systematic barriers in society. Dekanin EAC News.
The national campaign titled "The COVID-19 Omicron variant can be transmitted faster than before and can be cause serious risk to you and your family" was announced on Tuesday the 22nd of March. This campaign intends to raise more awareness about the Omicron variant and calls for stakeholders to understand that the COVID-19 pandemic is far from over. EAC News reporter Shana Guchen has more details.
During the opening ceremony of the national campaign held in Chabamon Town, Kampong Spu Province on Tuesday morning, the Minister of Health, Mom Bunheng, said that although the Omicron variant is not as severe as previous variants, its presence has continued to grow rapidly within the local community. As a result, the Omicron variant is still a risk to public health and people's lives in Cambodia, especially those who have not yet been vaccinated. Additionally, the continued spread of the virus also adversely affects Cambodia's socio-economic performance. The minister said the announcement of the campaign focused on the Omicron variant is a call to all stakeholders, capital provincial governors, local authorities, private sector actors, and all citizens to know that the COVID-19 pandemic is not yet over, and that the mutation of the virus could pose a risk to individuals and families, such as potentially leading to serious illness and hospitalization. He underlined that we must not overlook the seriousness of the continued transmission of the Omicron variant. The minister further urged the public to continue implementing the 3 do's and 3 don'ts measures, and to go and get fully vaccinated and receive the booster doses when eligible. The Secretary of State for the Ministry of Health and Chair of the Subcommittee on Education, Training and Public Relations, Van Din, said that the launch of this new national campaign is aimed at raising public awareness, specifically on the Omicron variant. She added that treating COVID-19 as a mild disease such as the flu only causes the virus to spread more widely, which can lead to a serious negative social impact. She said the COVID-19 virus is not as common as the common cold. It spreads very quietly and very fast, and it can endanger you and your family at any time, such as through the development of serious illness, hospitalization, or even death. She hopes that after launching this new campaign, people will be more vigilant about addressing the Omicron variant and more consistently adhere to the health practices. The representative of the World Health Organization in Cambodia, Dr. Lee Ai Lan, has expressed support for the launch of this campaign and said that it will help to prevent the spread of COVID-19 tomorrow and in the future. She considers Cambodia to have a good response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Ministry of Health announced the discovery of the first Omicron case in Cambodia on 14th December 2021, although this specific variant did not begin to spread within the community until 8th January 2022. As of Sunday, 20th March 2022, the Ministry of Health has announced a total of 13,309 Omicron cases in the community and 51 deaths due to the variant. According to forecasts, if individuals continue to neglect good health practices to prevent the spread of COVID-19, the Omicron variant will continue to invade communities and will require a combination of measures and unification to prevent the further spread of the virus. Darshana Gauchan, EAC News.
Cambodia has reported 73 new COVID-19 cases, including 8 which are imported. There have been 72 patient recoveries and no new deaths. The Kingdom has recorded 65 new community and 8 new imported cases of the new variant, meaning that Cambodia has now recorded 14,717 cases of Omicron, 1,343 imported, and 13,374 community cases. Cambodia's COVID-19 case tally has now climbed up to 135,158. The death toll now stands at 3,052. The number of patients treated successfully since the pandemic reached Cambodia is 131,110, and the tally for imported cases has climbed up to 21,200. Healthcare workers are now currently treating 920 patients. Now look for the news making international headlines this Thursday, the 22nd of March.
At least 3 people were injured in a shooting on a crowded Ocean Drive in Miami Beach around midnight on March 20, according to local reports. A footage filmed by David Hundley has captured the dramatic moment gunshots rang out, sending crowds of spring break travelers running. According to media reports citing authorities, officers on the scene found 2 people wounded who were then taken to hospital. Doctors at another hospital reported that a third person has arrived at their emergency room with a gunshot wound. Police in Miami Beach are investigating an overnight shooting. It happened along Ocean Drive and 8th Street just after midnight Sunday. The chaotic scene marred what's otherwise been a relatively tame spring break compared to previous years, with thousands swarming South Beach to party. Since the start of spring break, at least 5 people have been shot on Ocean Drive. The Miami Beach Fraternal Order of Police have also confirmed that 4 officers were hurt in the chaos over the weekend.
Authorities in Colombia working alongside counterparts in the United States have released a footage on Saturday 20 March and has showed 3.4 tons of seized cocaine worth $120 million. The drugs were found when a speedboat was spotted and pursued by members of Colombia's Air Force, the Navy has said in a statement. After the vessel was followed for several miles by Colombia's Navy and the Senatres Coast Guard, the speedboat was intercepted 121 nautical miles from the Senatres Archipelago. 5 men were arrested, 3 Nicaraguan and 2 Costa Ricans. The boat was taken to the Senatres Coast Guard station dock, where officers found 3,287 rectangular parcels inside 132 packages. Despite decades fighting drug trafficking, Colombia remained one of the world's top producers of cocaine and faces constant pressure from the United States to reduce crop and production of the drug that has long financed Colombia's internal armed conflict.
The recovery efforts have continued on Monday after a ferry capsized in the Shitalakya River in Narayanganj, Bangladesh. At least 6 bodies were recovered and 20 people are still missing after a ferry was hit by a cargo ship and capsized. A launch with at least 30 passengers aboard sank in the Shitalakya River after it was hit by a cargo vessel in Narayanganj on Sunday afternoon. The sunken vessel, ML Ashrafuddin, was traveling to Munshingganj from Narayanganj and was hit by cargo ship Rupshi 9 in Mahmudnagar area of the district around 2 p.m. of Sunday. One of the passengers, MD Abu Taher, swam ashore after the accident. He has told Protom Alo cargo vessel Rupshi 9 hit the launch from behind and the passenger vessel went underwater about 50 meters away. At least 40 passengers might have been on board the launch, Abu Taher has said.
Russia hopes the military operation in Ukraine will end with a comprehensive agreement on security issues and Ukraine agreeing with natural status. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has said during a Saturday meeting event.
Lavrov has said Moscow is ready to look for guarantees of security and to coordinate them for Ukraine, for the Europeans, and of course for Russia beyond the expansion of the North Atlantic Treaty. Lavrov believes Russia's cooperation with China will get stronger in the face of Western sanctions because at a time when the West is blatantly undermining all the foundations on which the international system is based, Russia and China, as 2 great powers, need to think how to carry on this world. The view was echoed at a separate event in Beijing on Saturday. Chinese Vice Foreign Minister Li Yuqiang has said Western sanctions against Russia were getting more and more outrageous. Although China has expressed concern about the war in Ukraine, Beijing has fallen short of condemning the Russian invasion. Chinese president has told U.S. President Joe Biden during a video call on Friday, the Ukraine crisis is something we don't want to see.
A China Eastern passenger jet carrying 132 people crashed in southern China on Monday. Aviation authorities have said the crash has led to a fire on the mountain.
There were no signs of survivors and bad weather has slowed recovery efforts. Chinese state TV have reported there were no foreigners on board. China Eastern has said the cause of the crash was still under investigation and it did not provide any details, but in an official filing with the Shanghai Stock Exchange, it has expressed its deep condolences for the passengers and crew members who died in the plane crash. The Boeing 737-800 from Kunming City to the southern hub of Guangzhou lost airborne contact over Wuzhou City in the Guangxi region, the Civil Aviation Administration of China has said earlier. State broadcaster CCTV has said the plane crashed in Teng County near Wuzhou and has caused a mountain fire, citing the Provincial Emergency Management Bureau. The crash site was about 150 miles from the destination of Guangzhou, meaning the aircraft had traveled almost 805 kilometers before coming down. Tracking data has showed the flight was traveling at a normal cruising altitude of about 30,000 feet when it suddenly went into a deep dive. The aircraft then briefly climbed 1,000 feet before the data abruptly ends about 40 seconds later. The data suggests the plane crashed within about 90 seconds of whatever first sent it plummeting toward the ground. Chicago-based Boeing Company has said it was aware of the initial reports of the crash and was working to gather more information. Boeing stock dropped over 8% in pre-market trading early Monday. After the crash on Monday, Chinese financial news outlet Yikai, based in the economic hub of Shanghai, has reported that China Eastern was going to ground all of its 737-800s pending an investigation, but the airline did not immediately confirm the move. 117 rescuers were working at the crash site, and 650 more rescuers and firefighters organized by the Guangxi Fire Department were also at the site. The Guangxi Fire Service has said crews were battling to extinguish a blaze on a hillside sparked by the crash, and satellite data from NASA showed a massive fire in the area. There are 9 separate teams working on everything from disposal of the wreckage to the crash investigation and passenger family assistance. The Chinese president has said they were shocked to learn of the China Eastern MU-5835 accident. He called for all efforts to be taken to rescue any survivors and to find out the cause of the accident as soon as possible. The plane was delivered to China Eastern by Boeing in June 2015. The twin-engine single-aisle Boeing 737 is one of the world's most widely used passenger jets for short and medium-haul flights. China Eastern operates various versions of the 737, including the 737-800, which crashed on Monday, and the 737 MAX, which was grounded worldwide after 2 fatal crashes. Robert Sumwalt, a former chairman of the National Transportation Safety Board, said the 737-800 has had a very good safety record over the years, but he said it's unlikely there will be survivors. I hate to say so, but I do not believe there's any chance that anybody would have survived a crash like this. It was the latest Chinese commercial passenger flight crash that caused civilian casualties. The deadliest Chinese commercial flight crash was the China Northwest Airlines crash in 1994, which killed all 160 on board. Most of the passengers on board the Malaysia Airlines flight MH370, which disappeared in March 2014 en route from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing, were from China. The ongoing nighttime rescue faced multiple challenges, such as lack of communication network in the mountains and poor lighting. Therefore, telecommunication support vehicles have also been dispatched there to ensure smooth communication among rescuers. Bad weather might pose the biggest challenge. The Meteorological Bureau of Guangxi forecasts that there will be a temperature drop and heavy rainfall late Monday night in Tangshan County. The rain may last for 2 or 3 days.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Sunday has called for direct talks with his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin, but has stressed Russia's negotiation requirements related to Ukraine's territorial integrity and sovereignty are unacceptable.
Zelensky has said that he is ready for negotiations with Putin and believes that the Ukraine-Russia conflict will not end without negotiations. I think that we have to use any format, any chance in order to have a possibility of negotiating, possibility of talking to Putin. But if these attempts fail, that would mean that this is a third world war, he has mentioned in an interview. The Ukrainian president, however, has stressed that some of Moscow's demands for ending the conflict, including the recognition of the independence of Donetsk and Lugansk and of Russia's sovereignty over Crimea, are unacceptable. In another related development, Turkey's Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu has said on Sunday that Russia and Ukraine were close to an agreement on key issues which could lead to a ceasefire soon. Turkey is ready to host a meeting between Russia and Ukrainian leaders in its capital of Ankara, according to Russian state-owned news agency Sputnik on Sunday. Zelensky has urged more negotiations in recent days as Russia's invasion of Ukraine nears its 4th week. Ukraine's president has previously said that his priorities in the talks are clear: the end of the war, security guarantees, sovereignty, restoration of territorial integrity, real guarantees of Ukraine, real protection. I am ready at a meeting with the president of Russia to raise the issue of occupied territories, but I am certain that a solution solution will not come at this meeting, Zelensky has also said. The Ukrainian president said any compromises agreed with Russia to end the war would need be voted on by Ukrainians in a referendum. The people will have to speak up and respond to this or that form of compromise, and what the compromises will be the subject of our talks and understanding between Ukraine and Russia, he has added. Issues that could be raised in any referendum could concern territories occupied by Russian forces, including Crimea, or security guarantees offered to Ukraine by countries in lieu of NATO membership.
На ті чи інші компроміси. Ви згадували про страх.
After the break, a look at all the latest sports news.
If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
German tennis great Boris Becker acted dishonestly by failing to hand over assets, including his Wimbledon singles trophy, before and after he declared bankrupt in 2017, a London court heard on Monday the 21st.
The 54-year-old six-time Grand Slam winner, who attended the opening day of his trial at Southwark Crown Court, faces 24 counts under the Insolvency Act relating to the period from May to October 2017. Becker, a former world number 1 who won Wimbledon 3 times, denies the charges. The trial is expected to last 3 weeks. British media quoted prosecutor Rebecca Chalkley as saying Becker acted dishonestly with regards to a number of his assets. The prosecution say Mr. Becker did this both before and after the date of his bankruptcy agreement by not disclosing, not providing, or delivering up or removing assets or things of value. The charges include 9 counts of not handing over trophies and awards and 7 of concealing property valued at more than 1.5 million euros or 1.65 million. The issues boil down to everyday issues of dishonesty and knowledge. That is what we say is at the heart of this case, said the prosecutor. Judge Deborah Taylor told the jury to leave aside any preconceptions and to ignore Becker's celebrity. Becker was made bankrupt on June 21, 2017 2019 at the London High Court in connection with a debt to private bankers Abernathy Lantham & Co. Under the terms of bankruptcy order, he was bound to provide full disclosures of assets.
Olympic speed skating champion Gerald Nieuwes followed up his Beijing heroics with another remarkable achievement as the Dutchman broke through the 100k barrier and set a new speed world record. Nieuwes, who set the world record 4 years ago with a speed of 93 km per hour, reached 103 km per hour along a 3 km long natural ice ring in Norway's Sullivan Lake while skating behind a windshield.
I skated the world record. I hit 103 kilometers an hour. 4 years ago I did 93 kilometers an hour. That last part is really hard. It sounds just like a little gap, but it was really hard to do. I literally flew over the ice. When there was a little bump, I just flew, and was a crazy feeling. I gave it all. When he said 92 kilometers an hour, I started sprinting, and then I heard Erben coming out of the car yelling, so I thought, yeah, this was it. I'm super proud.
Nieuwes successfully defended his 1,500 metre speed skating gold at the Beijing Olympics in February, adding his 1,500 metres and 1,000 metre titles from Pyeongchang in 2018. Stage 1 of the 2022 Cape Epic was won on Monday the 21st of March by Andres Seewald and Martin Sosek. The women's race was going to Sophie Gomez-Valavane and Hayley Batten.
Ladies and gentlemen, stage 1.
Riding for the Canyon Northwave MTB team, Germany's Seewald and Stosek of the Czech Republic covered the 92-kilometer course around the Roarinsford wine state in 3 hours 58 minutes 23 seconds, nearly 3.5 minutes ahead of the second-placed Buff Migamo team of Dutchman Hand Becking and Jose Diaz of Portugal. The Willier-Ferrelli pair of Italy's Fabian Rebenstinier and Belgium's Wout Aliman came third. The women's race was won by the 91 Songo specialized duo Harley Baden of the US and Argentina's Sofia Gomez Villafane in 4 hours, 50 minutes and 2 seconds, just 1 minute 49 seconds ahead of Semtex ZA Raiders, Ariane Luthi of Switzerland and South Africa's Amy Wakefield. The South African pair Candice Leal and Max Ski-Strauss were third for Faces Rolla.
Now let's look at the weather and what you can expect for tomorrow. And finally, over the weekend, Institut France de Cambodia celebrated its 30th anniversary in Cambodia. Throughout the years, IFC has given many scholarships to students in need to study at the centre as well as abroad in France. IFC has become a staple in Cambodia and is well known among the locals and foreigners. The EAC News team attended the party and the 30th anniversary celebration of its milestone. EAC News reporter Deccan Nin will tell you more about it.
Over the weekend, Institut Français du Cambodge invited everyone to walk through the gallery where the 3 winners from the comic contest have exhibited alongside the Case des Parts exhibition until the 21st of May 2022. On Friday, the dancers of the Royal Ballet of Cambodia performed a blessing dance before proceeding a performance of Breton Nhing Nie. The first dance went smoothly, but the second dance was met with pouring rain. However, even despite the cold showers, the performers soldiered on and so did the audience.
When we saw that the rain was pouring hard but the audience still stayed seated, they were excited and that energized us, the performers.
New Cambodian artists, a contemporary dance company, premiered their performance of Cinderella Not a Fairy Tale. The dancing duo Ni and Kun recently won second prize in an international theater competition in Milan, Italy, for their first work, Snow White Not a Fairy Tale. Kun said that growing up learning traditional dance and then getting exposed to new things made her interested in trying out contemporary dance by mixing both traditional and modern dance styles. Srenian Kun, the duo's manager, added that she is in talks with IFC on inviting a French choreographer to work with the duo and hopefully generate more opportunities to showcase their talents internationally. Srenian Kun also added that they like to use their performances to raise awareness on different social issues.
In our performances, we like to raise awareness of society's expectations on women, women's duties and pressures, as well as human trafficking as seen with the suitcases used in our performance. We hope to show the audience the problems that women face and hope to generate a discussion on gender equality.
Gunila Kaiv, a festival goer, said she really appreciates IFC for bringing many local and international artists from different fields together, so that many people like herself can enjoy the showcase of different art.
I thought that the performance by Ni and Kun was really beautiful and thought-provoking. And as a woman, when I saw the performance, I had goosebumps because the show highlighted the plight, and obstacles in women's life. And I thought it was really, really intelligent. The show was intelligent and thought-provoking, and I hope that a lot of other women and men could get a chance to see the performance as well.
The final performances of the night were by Clap Your Hands artists who always know how to throw down a good party. As soon as they took the stage, the people, young and old, joined in on the fun with singing and dancing. The rest of the weekend was filled with notable performances such as by the Fairpunli Selepas Circus, the Modern Theatre Lenoir de Jour by An Panya, a Champai music concert featuring Gong Nai, Shadow Puppet Theatre with Kok Tlok Association, a performance by the dancers of the Princess Bopat Devi Dance School, and a dance performance by Hun Pain. There were also screenings of animated movies, an environmental-friendly fair, a drawing workshop, a roundtable discussion on Le Souris Khmer, and an award ceremony for the winners of the comic strip competition. Valentin Rodriguez, the Deputy Director and Cultural Attaché of IFC, said he is proud of all the teachers and distinguished guests who have taught and shared their expertise at IFC. He added that the center welcomes all to its various events and its media library of rich resources, made up of over 30,000 books in French and Khmer. IFC has many things planned for each month for the rest of the year to mark this 30-year anniversary milestone, including inviting a perfume expert from France to come and visit Cambodia and create a signature Cambodian perfume, plus many more exhibitions.
For the past 30 years, IFC has become a central point where culture and education meet. IFC will continue to elevate cultural exchange between the two countries with many more special events in various fields.
Borenko added that IFC is like a house hosting of various platforms.
IFC is like a house of cultures, education and relationships. IFC always create opportunity for local artists. For example, the artist Sopipit, he came through IFC before he became famous internationally. Now, you cannot buy his art pieces for less than $10,000. IFC does not want anything back from him. We're just very proud of him and other Khmer artists on the international stage. It is an honor for Cambodia as well as an honor for IFC to be able to push them forward.
Sray Van Koson, a performer from the Royal Ballet of Cambodia, said that she really appreciates IFC. She said she has come to perform here many times, as well as to watch other performers show their talents. Clap Your Hands artist Vin Vitu concurred and said that he is always excited to perform at IFC because everyone seems to know them and shows a lot of energy during their performances.
After the pressure of COVID-19 on, I am so excited to be able to share the joy of performance and put a smile on people's face again.
IFC is located at 218 Kaivjie Street 184 and is open from Monday to Saturday starting from 9 a.m. Check out their website for more information on the upcoming events.
Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup here on EAC News Channel. For more breaking news and updates, check our website eacnews.asia or search EAC News on Telegram or your favourite app store. More from the EAC News team tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We'll see you then.